is weather conditions. If there's no
And
there's
we
no
have
snow.
an endless supply of them coming in out of the Sierra Nevadas and out of Oregon, southern Oregon.
We
they
do
don't
we do have
have-
lines coming in from other states. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Raine, while you're conferring, could I ask,
Go right ahead.
Mr. Mayor, if we're not taking as many lions as we have in our quota, we have a quota of 45 bears, and we're only going to take 20 of them, so a number of takes has no reflection on what we actually take. I mean, is there going to be a big rush that if we raised it to 1,000, are we going to take 1,000 lions, or are we going to take 400?
Well, Ken Mayor, for the record, my experience is this. Well, first of all, I think only 2 people took 2 lions. So, I mean, very, very few people take more than 1 lion, first of all. So, you know, so the reason I understand why, but my experience has been is perception. If you set us, this is not a quota that we need to reach.
Hold on, let me first ask you, can you tell me the NAC for DAG, we're talking stuff, and then you can continue, I just need to.
Mr. Chairman, it's 502-370, sub 1.
Thank you.
See, senior moment. I think I'm older than you.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I'm going to get older real quick.
It's really
The
a
question
perception.
is basically this, you know, we got a lot of people mad at us about the bear deal. And
Right.
we got a lot of people happy about the bear deal.
Correct.
The quota says 45, but we're going to take 20 bears. And if somebody's unlucky enough, the first 6 we take, if they're all females, party's over.
Correct.
So we take 6 bears.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
So if we said, we're going to raise it to 1,000 mountain lions by a grab, we'll draw in every guy with a dog from here to Pennsylvania. Is that going to happen, or we
No.
got 400 tags out here? Russell says we're taking about 300, so I don't understand what, you know, I know where Charlie's coming from. It's coming, let's do something. Our deer population continues to go down, and if this doesn't work, we can do something else.
There's a there's a large body of people that don't believe that lions should be killed, period.
All right, I need to, I'm going to ask the commission to do a couple things here. I'd like, I got a little advice from the Deputy Attorney General here, and I would like that everybody that has any motions or amendments to just, could we strike all the amendments, the amendments of the amendments, and we can kind of start over here. I'll go with his we'll read his advice, and then we'll ask Charlie to restate his motion. Is that acceptable to everybody that's made an amendment or a motion or an amendment to any motion? Besides, I was getting kind of confused. I'd read his advice.
I have no
and then-
problem with that as long as I reserve the right to re-amend.
To re-amend, okay. Is that all right with that? Anybody doesn't have that has a problem with that? Okay. So all motions and amendments to motions have currently been stricken. We're started over again. Can you give us a rundown?
Certainly. Is this thing on? Yeah. Okay. I apologize. I guess I'm getting senile. Sorry. I'm having, okay. Yeah, it may not be, oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
Guess I'm getting senile. The Commissioner is absolutely correct. There is an actual NAC there dealing with the a tag, the actual tag requirement and a limitation of mountain lions. I'd forgotten about that. A commissioner regulation just, it wouldn't overrule the actual NAC regulation. There's a different process for going through with that regulation. It really shouldn't, any commission regulation should actually conform to the existing NACs. They're already a law.
Okay, so basically, all we can do here today is we can't deal with incidental take, we can't deal with the tag maximum, is what he's trying to tell us, because those are set in NAC. And NAC is not on the agenda. We have commission regulation is on the agenda. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just didn't pull this out of the air. I've been doing a little study on this, and it is in the regs, method of take. It's mentioned in the regs.
But I think that is an NAC. Is method of take in the NAC? It's in the same one. He was just pointing out to me here where the tag maximum is in NAC. So we could try to change that.
Somebody had to do that to begin with.
Yeah, we'd have to change NAC. And
Let's do it.
different process. We can deal with the quota. If we
We
want to
can
go
deal with
back,
the quota.
we can deal with quota, and he's telling us we can't deal with the other items.
Would you like me to amend my motion then? Is that
Well,
what you're saying?
You agreed to retract all previous motions, right? And so now we're starting over again.
On
New
the
motion.
On the advice
Fresh.
of counsel.
On the advice of counsel, fresh motion.
Okay. I move that we approve Commission Regulation 1108, mountain lion seasons for 2011 and 2012. Huh. Boy, this is
2012 and
2012 and
2013.
2013. With the change of the limit to 500. I can do that, can I? I can't change the tags?
If you can answer him. So-
Commissioner, that's correct.
Mr.
And the
Chairman,
method of take.
I might be able to clarify some things, and it's a semantics issue, I think. The CR says harvest objective. That's the harvest objective for your take in the field.
We got to move it.
But the quota is unlimited, so we can sell as many tags over the counter, but it's limited to 2 per person. We actually, through the draw process, issue a couple thousand already. So I just wanted to make that clear that if the numbers in the CR are for harvest objective. Thank you.
All right. So harvest objective 500 is the motion to be distributed over the areas in the same proportion as proposed by the department, correct? Okay. Is there a second on that? We have motion by Commissioner Howell, second by Commissioner Vogler. Now, there's probably a vote on it. You want to try to amendment? Okay. The amendment.
The amendment would be to retain the harvest objective limits set forth by the department for both periods, 2011-12 and 2012-2013. And let me just tell you that it's very obvious to me that this is just a gesture at this point, because there's under the way this is going to work with a 2-tag limit, you are never going to ever get this up to what you proposed here. And so the bottom line is that the only thing that's going to occur here is we're going to inflame the public and the advocates for the anti-hunters and the lion advocates that we haven't had, other than maybe Dr. Moldy. But I can, I just don't see what the purpose is. Now that this thing has been gutted by the NAC, I don't see the purpose of this. It's just a gesture.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to amend the main motion to go with department's recommendation. Everybody understand the amendment? Let's vote on the amendment to the main motion. All in favor of the amendment to the motion to put it back, to put the main motion back to department recommendations, signify by raising your hand. We have Commissioner Macbeth, Commissioner Wallace, Commissioner Cavan. All opposed to that amendment? Other five. Is that clear to the record? Thank you. Amendment fails. Back to the main motion. Main motion is for a allocation of 500 tags in the same proportion that the department has allocated over the areas. Yes?
Tags, 500.
500 quota. 500 harvest, the harvest limit, 500.
Right.
Excuse me, I need to.
An
get
increase
my
of
link.
98.
Harvest limit of 500 distributed over the 4 areas in the same proportion as the department has, keeping 2 in 091. Everybody understand the motion as unamended? Oh, the main motion as it stands. All in favor of the main motion signify by raising your hand. All opposed? All right, the opposite of the last one, Commissioner Cavan, Wallace, and Macbeth voting opposed. Motion passes. Let's move on. We've got lots of things going on here. We've got a few minutes to finish up item number 27. We had a letter. I think everybody read the letter on this. It was conveniently supplied from WAFWA. I think everybody did have a chance to read that on it. And we could sit here and have a couple hours debate on the matter, but basically this was discussed in great length at the last meeting. I'd like now to have...
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
I believe there was a request in that letter that it be read into the record.
All right, well, my next 2 seconds, we'll have public comment, and public comment, hopefully somebody will be written record. If they don't, I'll go ahead and do it myself. Let me grab that and do it. If I'd have it here somewhere, but if you got it on top. All right, we'll read the letter, and it's got a pretty long attachment, but the main letter is more than a decade ago, the Western Association of Fish and Wildlife Agents, WAFWA, established a mule deer working group consisting of representatives from each of the 20. Actually, you know, it says it asked to be read in here, but I don't know why we need to read it, because we've all read it, and we got time. I've read it. Has everybody in the commission had a chance to read it? This is public comment period. If you got 3 minutes, you can spend your 3 minutes reading the record, reading that. I've read it. We've read it. It's been entered into the record. All right, public comment period. If you'd like to read it, you got 3 minutes. Or you can give other public comment on the issue.
You know, I will take part of my time here just to say that Commissioner Lentz spent 1 hour and 35 minutes yesterday reading into the record things that made no sense to anything that we were talking about. This is directly and very important about our mule deer herds, and it's the only thing you don't want to read in the record, and I find that just astonishing, Chairman Raine, that you would take something that is important, has science in it, and basically challenges the science that your group worked on for almost 2 years as a mule deer working group. And the basic conclusions are is you didn't do your homework. You didn't talk to the right people, you didn't read the right reports, but you had a predetermined notion of where you wanted to go. And I can tell you the things they didn't take on that report, which were the attacks you made on Endow, are crazy. And because WAFA didn't deal with that. And I'll leave it there as that it should have been read into the record, and you know that it can't be read in the record by any one person in 3 minutes unless all of us took a section of it. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Public comment, public comment. Come on down.
I yield my time remaining to the judge.
Thank you.
Steve Hemp, Humboldt County. As a board, we motion to not accept this document as written. It doesn't have a whole lot of scientific basis behind it, and I think it needs to be looked at a little more, and that's the way we voted.
Thank you. Public comment. Mr. Lytle.
And
And
Corey Lytle, Lincoln Cab. Our cab voted it basically down as across-the-board type of a recommendation. There are too many loose ends. The structure of it didn't really give a clear, detailed approach. Something else I want to point out is relative to legality. Trying to issue policy where you basically require a personnel to come up with numbers that aren't determined, so to speak, basically managing an animal that's, owned by the people of the state. You can compare private herds to public herds all you want, but you're always going to be comparing apples and oranges. So, you're going to get bogged down in all kinds of legal battles that way, and I think resources can be kind of channeled in more positive directions. We don't need to spend 10 years bottled up in some kind of a legal issue when it can go a different direction. Kind of the same goes for some of the scientific data versus some of the stuff that the Mule Deer Committee brought out. And I'm a proponent for you don't necessarily have to do 100% of things 100% of the time by 100% science. We can think outside of the box on a few things. We talked about the management bull hunt. We can go maybe outside and kind of skirt the edges on scientific data and scientific studies in a lot of areas. But, things that you have to fall under legally, federal policy and federal guidelines, we got to play by the rules. We basically have to get in bed with the feds. Glenn Bunch from Mineral County stated that yesterday. We got to figure out better ways to channel our resources other than just stating we're going to do things that aren't necessarily going to, find the desired effect that we want. I could speak on this for hours, but I realize my time's up. But hopefully we can work this in the right direction, change some things, alter some things, and make it better.
all right, thank you. Appreciate it. Go ahead. More public comment.
Thank you. For the record, Ken Wellington, Elko County. I just wanted to make sure, because there was some, I guess, what my intent was for the motion. I made the motion on this. I want to make sure when the heritage issue came up, my intent was spread all over, and it didn't come back like it actually was. So to make it clear, I wanted to let you know what my motion was and the intent behind my motion on this. My motion was to support the concept of the Mule Deer Restoration Committee's report when it came to the habitat issues, grazing, pinyon juniper encroachment, weather, drought, predation, noxious and invasive weeds, feral horses, and wildfire as you set forth in the plan. However, we also wanted to make sure that when we reviewed this and went back in and looked at it further, that the committee worked with the department and used science when they did their next report when it came out. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you. Further public comment? Go ahead. Mr. Gardner, we're going to have anybody else after Mr. Gardner? We've already had once.
I can speak as a private
So we have
citizen.
already had once. Thank you. Per person.
Walt Gardner, I'm here representing myself. I read through this plan and I thought it was a tremendous piece of work, personally. I couldn't find many flaws in there, if any flaws. I thought you guys put a lot of time and effort into it. I think it is overdue. I think that the department has kind of been running without a rudder for a while. Also, the Guides Association asked me to convey to you that they believe in this plan and the concept, and they think it is a great step in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate coming out, your efforts. Further public comment? Seeing none, close public hearing on the matter. Yes? All right. You wanted to finish your 3 minutes? Come on up. Go ahead and finish your 3 minutes. You had about a minute. You're at about a minute 15 in. Go on ahead.
15. I'll just read the summary into the record of this WAFA report, which the Nevada document is apparently based on incomplete review of scientific literature and unfamiliarity with the successful programs and knowledge base of other WAFA agencies. The document selectively discredits or ignores well-substantiated scientific principle and adopts unsubstantiated, poorly documented, or incomplete, unsupported ideas. Despite significant supporting scientific literature and data, this document readily dismisses the concept of carrying capacity and the fact that most populations may be limited by the amount and quality of habitat. The document also supports dramatic increases in grazing in riparian areas recently burned, and also advocates dramatic increases in overall grazing intensity with both sheep and cattle in general and in the absence of supporting evidence. In addition, it encourages extensive and generally ineffective practices such as widespread mineral supplementation for deer and widespread predator control. This document speculates on the general concern over coexisting deer and elk, assumes negative biological impacts of Nevada's hunt structure. Many of these management approaches and ideals are inconsistent with a large body of scientific literature, decades of agency management experience, as well as numerous products of the MDGW, which has produced. In the past 13 years, the Mule Deer Working Group has produced numerous publications that deal directly with the issues of this document. All this information is widely available to agency deer managers, boards, commissions, and other decision makers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I read this document, and I got a couple comments on it here, and I'll be real short here, but this was not written on WAFA stationery, and it's not official WAFA. And I'd like to make a couple comments here, because you're not getting this whole truth here, because we had a 3-bar study in Arizona, and everyone here knows it with it, and absolutely proved the effect of predation. I mean, beyond a shadow of doubt. And this 10-year 3-bar study by Arizona Game and Fish Research Chief Jim DeVos, who was also the originally chairman of the WAFA Mule Deer Group. DeVos was replaced by this Heffinger, who wrote this letter, as chair, and none of the 3-bar research or the actual impact of predation on mule deer was even mentioned in any of the documents published by the Mule Deer or WAFA. Now, I'm going to read just for a second, with your indulgence, at the 72nd North American Wildlife Natural Resources Conference, which I had all the commissioners get it. And this was written by Eric Rominger out of New Mexico. And he said, and I'll do it real fast here, he said, intensive mountain lion harvest in Texas has not resulted in the extirpation of mountain lions, and mountain lion distribution is considered similar today to what it was 35 years ago. Because of this fact, Texas Parks and Wildlife was a principal complainant, resulting in the Western Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies not endorsing or otherwise sanctioning the recently drafted Cougar Management Plan. There's a lot of politics in there. And then also, a working group published the Cougar Management Guidelines in an effort to synthesize and organize available information on management of the species. The WAFA expressed its concerns regarding the guidelines, and they established another working group to get another document. The bottom line is here, you have to watch out what you believe in WAFA. They will develop what it wants to serve its purpose. WAFA is just generalizations. Nothing applies to Nevada deer herds from the WAFA letter. WAFA won't get involved in state issues. They don't dictate what states will do. WAFA never will tell a state what to do. The director might get one guy in WAFA to write a letter, but you can get anybody to write a letter. One guy writing a letter is not WAFA. Members of WAFA, most of them who haven't even set foot in Elko County, know more about our deer population, people who have lived in the state for generations? I don't think so. In other words, people like John Carpenter, Cliff Gardner, who have generations of their family living in Elko County, don't know what they're doing. Ranchers spend more days in the field than biologists. They may not know the scientific names of the animals, but they actually know what's killing our deer. They see our deer numbers dwindle while grass is growing knee-high. So before we decide where we're going to get, before we decide how we're going to get there, it's imperative we know where we want to go. And therefore, by now, we should know where we want to go to see where our deer are going. This committee report we need to accept to help us see how we're going to get there. It's a start in a roadmap to how we're going to get there. And therefore, I'm prepared to make a motion to accept these findings as findings of the commission, and this will go back to the committee to develop an actual policy. and this is a roadmap to get us there. We're not saying this is going to be it, but I'm willing to make a motion to accept the findings so we can start this roadmap going. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is a motion.
I could do item 28. It would take no more than 2 minutes, Mr. Chairman. I guarantee you. Okay, John Schoberg, supervising fisheries biologist, Southern Region for NDOW. These are two items that are part of the Commission Regulation 0909 amendment. One is a simple name correction. Carson City renamed the pond at Fuji Park from Fuji Park Pond to the Bailey Fishing Pond, and this simply corrects the regulation so that it reflects the correct new name of the facility. That's part one. Part two is a change to the closed waters in Clark County. It would affect Las Vegas Wash and associated waters of Las Vegas Wash within the Clark County Wetlands Park, which extends about 6 miles, 5.5 miles on Las Vegas Wash. This is actually so that we're conforming to the Clark County Park regulations. It actually has been closed to fishing by county regulation since 2003, and apparently they, for whatever reason, we didn't know that, and they had never brought it forward to us for a correction until now. So this is just a cleanup action so that we're in confirmation because of access issues and concerns about monofilament and the primary management for waterfowl in large areas of that facility. That's why they had implemented that regulation, and this is just to bring us in conformance with Clark County. Parks regulation.
All right, do you have any public comment on this issue? Seeing none, bring it back, close public hearing, bring it back to commission. On item 28, do you have any issues? Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion, if I could, that we accept Commission Regulation 09-09 Amendment Number 1 as proposed by the department.
Everybody understand the motion? All in favor of the motion, signify by stating aye. Aye. All opposed? Vote will just,
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
all right, we'll move to further reports to the next meeting. For item number 30, the next meeting. Number 31 will take about a few seconds here. The selection recruitment process, the announcement is out. We have set a deadline. It's in the middle of March. This is for the Southmore Wildlife Director selection recruitment process. We need for a selection of director for this department. That is out. And we're talking about that at the, undoubtedly, our next item, scheduled at the April meeting. Then we will cross the 45-day drought plans to apply for that position. Move on to number 32, and that should be available online. Future commission meeting. We have scheduled March 11th, 12th. We got, basically, this is the Advisory Board of Managed Wildlife. We'll catch up on the items we missed here. And question on future meeting?
No, item 9.
We're gonna have to roll them over to the next meeting. Okay, everybody, they gotta basically go. So, we'll roll those over to the next meeting and catch up with the advisory board. Anybody have anything on the agenda? Yes.
Item 9 and 10 are going to be rolled over then?
Everything we haven't covered, roll over to the next meeting.
Okay.
And we'll hit it next number 9. That happens to be better, something by then, we'll have the same meetings, and that's covered.
Chairman, make a motion, we adjourn.
See you in March.